Hey everybody. So it's hard to believe, but it's probably been, I don't know, at least a year, maybe 2 years since I last posted a video. And I know some of you have been curious to hear what is happening with our adoption and where we're at with it. And I do apologize for not posting anything recently, but as you all know, it's been an interesting past couple of years with COVID, and I honestly just didn't really have much to offer in the way of updates. So unfortunately, we've been in quite a holding pattern with our adoption through China, and I will tell you a little bit about that. But because there weren't really any updates to provide, and because when I started this channel, it was intended to be sort of an informational channel to help guide and support other families who may be interested in adoption, I just really didn't have much to offer. It was honestly, truly just sort of a black hole that we had been dropped into. Every day was just a big mystery of whether or not we were going to be able to resume our adoption, or even if the program was going to continue. So for that reason, I haven't offered any updates. But with that being said, we do have an update coming today. So we have a call with the government this afternoon, and I'm really hoping and praying that there's some good news on the horizon. So I'll certainly keep you all posted. And when we do get the good news, I will try to be more thoughtful about posting updates so that y'all can see where we're at, and also so that we can share with you what our experiences are in case you want to go to China for an adoption. Because the program's still open. While we can't travel right now, the program is still open. So what have we been up to in the past couple of years? Well, with COVID, our family had a lot of changes, and it's interesting. I like to think that things happen for a reason, and sometimes we understand those reasons and sometimes we don't. COVID certainly was not great, but it did give our family a chance to sort of hunker down and become a better unit. We had been running around quite a bit, lots of different extracurriculars and hobbies and activities, and just bouncing from one thing to another that we really didn't get a chance to connect. And so COVID sort of forced us to do that. Our bubble forced us to sort of pull back on some of the commitments that we had made, and just focus on each other. I also started virtual school for the kids for a couple of years. I can't even believe I did that on top of working full time, but I did. My husband works from home now, and so that too is a reason why I stopped doing the videos. It's gotten pretty noisy in the house, but the kids are back in school, so thank God for that. And then with the adoption and China specifically, there's just been a lot of unknowns. So I had originally thought that once a vaccine was available, we would be given the opportunity to travel, and that didn't happen. And then I thought maybe it was when children had a vaccine that we would be allowed to travel, and that didn't happen. And then I thought maybe with the Olympics, that might be an opportunity to travel. That didn't work. And then with the election back in the fall, I thought surely after that there would be some announcement that travel would resume, and it hasn't happened. But here we are in January, and a lot has happened in the last month. If you follow China news at all, they dropped the zero COVID policy, which had required for quarantining and lockdowns, and it's a very strict form of trying to control the virus. Which I think they realized in the end was just simply not attainable. And so the gates have been entirely lifted, and a lot of COVID here in the first couple of weeks, but the thought is that travel will open up soon for tourists, and unfortunately that is the category that we fall into, so they're not issuing tourist visas yet. Everything else really is open. If you are Chinese, you're allowed to leave the country and come back. If you have a reason to go there for family or for business, you're allowed to travel. And so the hope of today's call is I'm hoping that there's a special type of visa that may be granted for our families. If you're wondering about how many of us there are, so I'd say maybe 200-300, possibly more. We do have a group on Facebook, a support group that's been really helpful through all of this. If you can imagine knowing that you have a child who's waiting for you, but you can't go get him or her, is emotionally draining and exhausting and frustrating. You go through all the different feelings, and so we found that as a way to connect with each other and try to lift each other up, because it's not easy. And I'll say some people have it more difficult than others. So our family's very fortunate. Our son is 6 now, if you can believe. He was 3 when we first got matched, and we've been waiting ever since to go get him. But he has a really great orphanage that, from what I can tell, it has good amenities, is well funded, and consistent caretakers, which is so important for little kids. And so that's been helpful for us to get through the wait. I know that there's a lot of other families who haven't been as fortunate, and also other families with children who have children with greater medical needs, and also children who are aging out. So once you reach a certain age, your opportunity to be adopted expires, and so that all of that has been, for some families, just really frustrating, for lack of a better word. So anyways, we continue to wait, and I will begin to provide updates as soon as we get some good news, hopefully after today. So, but we just don't know. We just sit and we wait. So, and the time passes. Yeah, so that's what's going on. That's what's happening. Not much, but maybe more to come. So if you're a praying type, please pray, cross your fingers, knock on some wood, and I will be back with an update after our call today. So